welcome to Off the Cut.
Dude, I haven't touched any wood in a long time.
I want to put my face in that grass.
Or you're trying to make eye contact with a person.
And that's an example of it works.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm glad we got the explicit out of the way early.
Welcome to Off the Cut, episode 140 for Tuesday, November 19th, 2024, where the sound of the day is... Oh, hold on.
Yep.
That's right, baby. That is the sound of the brand new bourbon blade that launched from KM Tools. And we got it in our hands, baby. Zach, have you cut yourself up yet?
Yeah, I cut myself a couple times with it. What color is yours? Yours looks like a different shade of green than mine.
No, mine's like a gray green. Maybe it's just the lighting in here.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Maybe it's just the lighting. Interesting.
Snazzy, though.
Very snazzy. Very snazzy.
Anyway, you can pick up a bourbon blade for yourself over at camtools.com, and we've got exciting news.
Yes, we do.
This just in. Well, actually, Keith Johnson and Jason Hibbs beat us to it. But this second in, we've got news about a huge, some might call it the biggest woodworking Black Friday sale on the internet that's happening over at camtools.com. Did you read this brief?
It's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. It's very detailed. It's very. I skimmed it. To be honest, it was a lot. It was a lot to take in. And if you've written a script, by all means, like go ahead and go for it. But I was like, oh, there's a lot here. The important thing that I saw, though, and shout out to Jonathan for doing this. He didn't jack up all his prices. He wanted to make that very clear. He did not jack up his prices ahead of time to give an artificially high, like 75% off discount. Right. And I was like, that's a classy move because a lot of companies do that now and it pisses me off.
Well, he's a classy guy. So there is so much that he's putting on sale, but I want to highlight some of it. Discounts up to 90% off. Insane. Lowest prices he's ever offered on things like stop blocks, aprons, dovetail jigs, squeeze-in saws, router tables. Like I can't even list it all. It's insane. And this was the thing that I thought was the coolest. Did you see?
I did the last page.
Yes.
Yeah, the last page is very cool. Tell the people what's on the last page.
Okay. So if you sign up, what is it? What do you have to sign up for the email list, right?
I think the newsletter, yeah.
Yeah, you got to sign up for his newsletter, and you're going to get the opportunity to win 3 prizes. So listen to this. Prize 1 is either a dovetail starter package plus an apron or a bourbon blade, lifetime access to all plans, and a feature in Jonathan's next video. That's sick, and that's third prize.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Second place, you either get a custom engraved stop block with your logo, jig square, and an ultimate sled, or a full-size cordless router plus a $500 KM Tools gift card. Dude, can you imagine that? Like, imagine that you're getting a full-size cordless router plus $500. Like,
I know,
just for signing up for the email list.
I know, and the email list. The emails are good. Like,
dude, I subscribe to him. I learned stuff.
I subscribe to them too. He features creators. He's got tips in there. He's got all sorts of fun talking about, woodworking techniques and stuff. Fun talking about, Jesus, I can't talk today. But now I completely lost my train of thought.
Jonathan's a smart businessman.
Yeah.
How is he affording this? This is insane.
It's a great question.
Back to the people, man.
Yeah.
Man.
So, in first prize, the grand prize is the KM Tools Ultimate Woodworking Bundle. Listen to this. Full-size DeWalt cordless router, a bourbon blade. That's ASMR. A Tamar 3x3 custom 6-in-1 router jig, and a KM Tools benchtop router table. Dude, that's insane.
That is very
just for signing up.
Yeah.
He's got to be losing money.
There was another one in there that I thought I saw. I realized Keith had mentioned it. And I want to make sure that I'm saying this right. one of the prizes is one. Yeah, I'm reading it right. There is one lucky winner from the email list that will win an all expenses paid trip to have a woodworking class with Jonathan, just for signing up for the email list.
Whoa. Okay, well, can I unsubscribe and then resubscribe?
How many times can I resubscribe?
Yeah, or is this for everybody and not just new?
I don't know. So go to kmtools.com for all of the details on this. We're just reading the brief that we got from Jonathan a couple days ago. Absolutely insane. So he's running a week-long Black Friday sale from Sunday the 24th to Monday, December 1st.
Get in there.
Can I just say that I love the fact that we stopped doing this one day bullshit? There's the explicit. And like people just know like, hey, it's kind of coming around, the time. Like just order it this month and you're good.
For sure. Yes, I do appreciate that companies are just doing like month-long Black Friday. Because when it's just one day, especially around the holidays, it's like, oh yeah, I was busy having Thanksgiving dinner with my family. I didn't think to do online shopping. So it's for a week.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But so those are sweet prizes. But we have yet another prize from Jonathan. Every single month we give away, Jonathan gives away a $50 gift card to KM Tools. And how do you get that, Zach?
You become a patron over on Patreon, and you get access to the bonus show. You also get the Discord server and Deric's undying gratitude.
Ooh.
That's right.
I like that you call it the bonus show. Because it's not really an after show. It truly is a bonus show.
I mean, some of them are longer than the main show, are they not?
Most of them are.
Yes.
Some may call it the better half.
Yeah. Well, true. Anyway, huge shout out to Jonathan for sponsoring the show and keeping the lights on here. But even bigger shout out to all he's doing for the woodworking community. Like, that's crazy. I'm probably going to pick some stuff up. Some of those saw blades, you know.
Oh yeah,
I will. Yeah, no. I'm curious to see what the 90% off thing is. That's where I'm going.
Usually on sites it's like 90% off, and it's like a size 6.5 men's tennis shoe and zebra print, and it's like, okay, nobody wants this. But dude, Jonathan's sale last year, he had some deals on stuff. Like he might what I would call in the business a lot of people call it a loss leader. I guarantee he's losing money on some of this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. But that's that's how you get to be a business mogul. You understand that sometimes you have to spend money to make money.
Yeah, that's right. Well, anyway, Jonathan, thank you so much. Mm-hmm. This is not part of the ad read, but it's something I do want to talk about.
Let's talk about these mother effing bourbon blades.
Bourbon blade, like, is that coming through? Like,
oh, I get, yeah.
Okay.
It kind of sounds like you're like chopping something.
So, in full transparency, we should say that Jason reached out to us when they first did the launch. He was like, "Hey, I'd love to send you one, no strings attached." And I was like, "Yeah, cool, for sure. I'd love to help check it out and spread the word." With all due respect, my expectations were a 6, 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Dude, this is nicer than any knife I've put my hands on.
I spent like a good 20 minutes sharpening all of my kitchen knives like a week ago.
Yeah.
And I did the thing where you hold up a sheet of paper and you like cut the paper, and I was like, I did a pretty good job sharpening these knives. This knife is sharper than those knives.
I know.
Right out of the box. So I'm actually this is sharper than any chisel you get out of the box.
Especially your throwaway beater chisels.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Like, genuinely, they outdid themselves on this. I think they're undercharging for this.
Have you tried using it as a chisel yet? Because I have not. I've only used it as a knife.
No, I've only been cutting stuff. I did go out to a tree outside while I was putting boxes in my recycling container. And, dude, it sliced through the tree.
You know what I appreciate about it, too, is it comes with a little Torx driver. So that you can adjust the tension on the little flippy, snappy action on it. Yeah, exactly.
And I love the fact that the buttons on the side, right? You just squeeze the buttons down, and your fingers never get in the way. It just slides right down.
Eric, I'm gonna let you in on a little tip. You don't even need to use the buttons to open it.
Oh, I know. You give it the
yeah.
Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
Yeah.
But so Jason, Jonathan, and I forget
Well done.
Mikkel, was that the other guy that designed it? He was the knife maker, I believe.
Okay, that part
outdid themselves. You guys, like, seriously, if you're a knife person, you got to get this thing.
Check it out.
It is slick. Whoosh, whoosh. Oh, well, anyway, that wasn't the ad read. I was just genuinely interested in that. So
I know.
All right. Well, I feel like we got a lot to talk about this episode. Might I suggest we start with the tool controversy that I hinted at last week?
Yeah, dude, we put off so much stuff from last week.
I know.
Yeah, let's dive in.
I know. Okay. So for those people who don't know, was this a couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago? Beginning of October 31st was when Craig put out their Mortis Mate.
Oh, yes.
Right. And so I've been working with Craig for years and years and years. They reached out and they're like, hey, would you do like a promo video for it? And they sent it to me ahead of time and stuff. I was like, yeah, for sure. Happy to. I tested it out, put out the video. As we alluded to, I thought the controversy was going to be the fact that I used a Festool drill in it because I couldn't find my other drills, and that's basically how you make like domino tendons, like loose mortise and tendon joinery, but with the Craig system, right?
Yeah, this Craig tool might as well be marketed as the poor man's domino.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they not trying to hide that. They leaned in there like, yeah, that's our direct competitor. So anyway, I put out the video. Then other people put out videos and talked about it and whatnot. And then there was a lot of public backlash.
Really?
People started throwing them under the bus, saying that they're just like woodpeckers, just going out on the internet, just stealing everybody's designs and redoing it. People were pissed.
Okay, but hold on. There's a difference here. Okay, first of all, I mean, not to defend Craig because I don't have any relationship with him, but I got to defend Craig here for a second because they're making a cheaper, more accessible version of a tool that's out of the reach for most people, right? And it's not like the domino is just a mortise and tenon machine, right?
Yes.
Like so what Craig has done has essentially made a cheaper way and faster way to do a woodworking technique that's been used for thousands of years.
Right.
What Woodpeckers has done,
it's made an entire business out of copyright infringement.
Yeah, but also like targeting small creators.
Mm-hmm.
Looking for like reels on Instagram of people launching their own products and jigs and being like, oh, I can commercialize that.
Right.
Whereas Craig has just found a way to make a slightly better mortise and tenon machine.
Right. So there was you addressed some of it. That was like 5% of the backlash.
Okay.
What were the biggest part of the backlash is, and I'm going to send this in the chat here so you guys can click on it and check it out if you haven't seen it. I put it under private chat.
Okay.
Is Jessam, which is a Canadian tool company, makes some really high end, really nice stuff. They're known for like their router lifts, router tables.
Yeah, I have one.
Those like stock guides that keep your board pressed against the table saw fence and whatnot.
Yep.
Well, they have a product called the Pocket Mill Pro loose tenon system. Okay. And so where people got pissed is they said, Craig, you're just going out and completely ripping off the Jessam one.
So I spoke too soon.
Yeah. And if you look at this Jessam one, it is damn near identical. And that's what pissed people off.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta say, Jessam needs a better photographer because I'm looking at their photos and I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Oh, you can't see
a little artsy.
It's a little artsy. It's all cast in deep shadow, and you can't really understand.
If you scroll down, you get some white background versions.
Is there? I'm not seeing those on my page. I think they have a Canadian site, and I think I'm on the Canadian site. Oh no, okay, I see what you're talking about. Deric.
So anyway, on November 8th, about a week after it launched, I get a PR update from my contact from Craig, and basically it says, "Happy Friday. I'm writing to you," and I have to not say some of the stuff. "I'm writing to you as recipients of the newest product release, the Mortismate. You may have noticed similarities between our Mortismate and the Jessam Pocket Mill Pro. That's because we once again partnered with Jessam on this project. We have collaborated on projects in the past, and they're an excellent partner for us. We focused on portability and ease of use with the Mortismate, aiming to build on the precision of step-down mechanism while introducing features like an integrated work surface to simplify clamping. We're excited to see our customers using this new tool in their projects. We just want to make sure that we were transparent with you that this is not a knockoff, but a product actually made in Canada at the Jessam facility. Jessam has been a great partner for Craig for many years, and as a company we respect and hope to continue working with in the future. Please let me know if you have any additional questions, and I can get you the answers and stuff." So I find that interesting. I've got to imagine that they would have been better off saying in collaboration with Jessam. One, would have covered their ass for like people getting pissed off about it. But two, I think Jessam has a notoriety for, with all due respect, higher quality tools than Craig does.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? I almost think that would have boosted sales. But again, I'm not in marketing, but people were so pissed.
What's the price point on the Craig again? I just want to know.
Are they the exact same
price? Yeah. The Craig is $299. Jessam is $319.
Okay. Pretty close.
Yeah, so that was the controversy, and I don't know how well they addressed it. They had sent it out to just people on their PR list.
Sorry, I just wanted to highlight Scott's comment
there. Okay, Scott Walsh chimed in. He said popped in, might have mentioned this, but Jessam has always made Craig's router table. That makes sense because it's damn similar to them, or the other one that I have. The Craig router table is pretty nice. I've got one. I like it. But
I never knew that these two companies had a partnership. I find it interesting because Craig is like, they do a lot of their own manufacturing. So I'm surprised that they would partner with a relatively small company like Jessam. It's don't get me wrong, Jessam makes very high-end stuff, but they almost seem to like occupy two different spaces.
But what's really interesting is on Craig's website for the Precision Router Lift, which is, I don't see anything on there that says or mentions Jessam at all.
Yeah. I mean,
not that I'm saying that's bad. I just like.
No, but I see what you're saying. Well, I guess, in some ways, that's the weird thing about these co-productions. It's like you kind of want to talk about it, but you also kind of don't want to talk about it because from Craig's point of view, like Craig is the bigger company. So if they start talking about a partnership with Jessam, it's almost like free advertising for Jessam, right?
Yeah, I don't know. But Deric, I see that on your screen, you're looking it up. Do you see anything on there that I missed that says Jessam?
No, I just did a search on it. I couldn't find anything. JES cancels out.
Wow. But yeah, there was a lot of anger around that. And so we just want to clear that one up for everybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Scott's saying Craig probably looks at Jessam as just like another manufacturer, not so much as a competitor or another retailer.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Supplier, not a partner.
Yeah.
Guys, I hate to do this. My headphones are going to die, and then they're going to blast loud music, or it's gonna like blast you guys talking through my speakers. So I gotta swap the battery real quick.
Yeah, you take it. I gotta transition to Deric anyway. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So speaking of tools and stuff, Deric, you went to the Texas Woodworking Festival, but Zach and I did not. Tell us about it. Give me the whole rundown. I've heard good. I honestly have only heard good things about it, but give me both sides if you have, any feedback.
I don't have a both sides argument. I have a one side argument, and that is, go check it out. At least day one, Saturday, the full day.
Okay.
That was a lot of fun. Got to meet a lot of people, see a lot of people, go around and check out all the booths. There's easily, Workbench Con's the only other point of reference I really have for this. So, but there's easily 3 times as many, maybe 4 times as many, vendors or booths there. A good, I'd say 25% of it, to maybe 30% of it was the school and local makers, which was a little odd that local wood makers would set up a booth in there to like sell cutting boards or whatever, because it seems like the audience is people that are already in their garages working on things. But there was a couple of them set up for that, and that's fine. It was neat to see kind of like what other people were doing, hands-on and everything. But yeah, it was, like I said, it was a lot of fun. I went there, hung out with Joe Welsh, Delaware Valley Workshop. John Biscuitry was there too. That's right.
Shout out John.
Mike Martinez, his wife Lisa, Fentine, they were there. Of course, we met up with the usual suspects, Keith and Jake Hatz and Jason Hibbs and his boy Craig, and Justin Moody was there. Ronnie and Jason from Green Suitors, Sean Kirsch.
The what?
Mary. It's a little podcast. They're trying to be like us, but they're.
What's it called?
They're trying. Green Sponges? No. Green Suitors.
Is it sponge-worthy?
I don't think so.
Okay. Is it available on Apple and Spotify, or?
It is available on Apple and Spotify. And, if you get bored, go check them out. They're pretty funny. Okay. But yeah. And I met some new people. Throw a couple shout outs here to BJ Harrison from Byron's Custom Woodworks. James and Kim from Texas Crafted, and Tony, Evan, and a couple others that I'm probably forgetting their names of, and I apologize, but it's been a couple weeks now. But yeah, cool. So it was a lot of fun. Met some new people. Like I said, checked out some booths, checked out some tools. Got to kind of do some hands-on stuff. The boys at Festool were there, showing off that exosuit and setting people up in that, and let them try that out. That was pretty.
I didn't tell you guys. I got to test out the exosuit at Maker Camp.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How was it?
Yeah.
Dude, I would never effing wear that thing.
Off a job site for sure.
It's one of those things where it's like the time you save using it is completely negated by the 15 minutes you have to spend putting it on.
Yeah,
fair.
I think Scott and Simon have some funny videos of me wearing it.
I know Ronnie said that he uses it like if he's like putting in a bunch of like joist hangers and stuff overhead. He goes, "Oh, it's game changer for that."
Really?
Yeah, because it just like you can like hold your SDS above you and really like force concrete anchors and tapcons and stuff in there like pretty good.
Yeah. All right,
but for somebody like us we're not working on a construction site.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I got to use
it either. Everybody I saw put it on, their arms, as soon as it got turned on, their arms just shot straight up above their heads. Like just took
it's
over.
got a bunch of different settings. I know on it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird too, because like you go to put your arms down and you get a little resistance, and then you push, and then you can feel like a bladder deflating, and it like allows you to lower your arms. It's a very weird sensation.
Gotta wear it to the gym.
That would be funny. That would be funny.
But so give me the whole rundown of the event. Was it a Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Well, Friday, Saturday.
So it's Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
They do classes, and then they have the floor that you can go out and explore. Saturday or Friday night, they had a meet and greet where you could go to like this little driving range that's behind the event center and meet people, pick up your passes early and all that kind of stuff, and just hang out for a couple hours. And that was a good excuse to go and where I met a lot of new people at and everything, and kind of get your feet wet with it, if you will. But yeah, that was fun. Like I said, one day is all I would do. I would go back and I would do just Saturday, unless there's a class that I absolutely wanted to attend on Sunday.
Okay.
It's just really kind of a one day thing.
Yeah.
Show up
or
Friday,
if you're
hang
there
out.
with a bunch of people, to hang out with. But everybody that I talked to was leaving Saturday or Sunday morning. So at that point I was like, well, I'll go ahead and call. I was going to stay until Monday morning, thinking that people like Workbench Con would be hanging out that last night, late into the night. It's a completely different scene.
Okay.
There's not that same, because I think part of the problem is it's not like Workbench Con. You go to the hotel and you're pretty much so in the hotel the whole time.
Yeah, you don't leave.
Yeah. So everybody congregates downstairs in the lobby. Well, here, some people are staying in the hotel that they recommend, and then a lot of people aren't. Like, they're staying somewhere else, renting an Airbnb, whatever the case may be, and then gathering at the event center, and then dispersing from there.
Gotcha.
Which kind of, it takes away that whole, hanging out in the lobby thing that you get from Workbench Con.
Right.
But I will say, it made me nostalgic for Workbench Con, and I think I may end up going to Workbench Con this year. I
think I'll probably go.
I mean, we talk shit about it, but like, let's be honest, we're probably going to go.
And I was looking at it because everybody's been talking about, well, I'm going to go, but I'm not going to get a ticket, and I'm just going to go and rent the hotel room and just hang out.
Yeah.
The price of the hotel room is like $300 something a night. And if you bought a ticket and the prices of the hotel room are roughly the same as they offered last year, you're going to make up your money on the hotel room cost right there just from buying a ticket.
Interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, I could see that.
So
let me ask you this, Deric, I have two questions for you. I guess the first one, simple yes, no, but if you had to fly, would you still be as enthusiastic about it?
Yeah, but I would have been a little disappointed if I had flown, being stuck there till Monday with everybody leaving early. It's definitely like, if you're going to go, if you're going to be flying to an event like this, and I think any event, check with who you plan on meeting up with there. Like, and how long are they going to stay, and kind of get on the same page so you're not left on an island at some point or another.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Gotcha.
So you'd recommend like getting there Friday late afternoon, kind of hanging out, grabbing dinner with people Friday night, doing the whole event Saturday, and then do people like grab dinner Saturday night, or are people even heading out Saturday night?
Most people like met up. Well, like I said, it's not kind of it's a bit of a different scene. So you have a lot more woodworkers and less content creators, and it seemed like most of the content creators got together that evening.
Okay.
At a couple different places, depending on, what group you're with. And
I heard some wild stories from Keith and Jason.
Yeah. They have their own, But yeah,
Okay. So, and then I guess that kind of answers my other question too, because I was going to say, is it content creator focused, or is it just more of a woodworker thing?
I would say it's like 95% woodworker based. There was a little bit of content creation talk. Oh, I forget his name. One of the presenters.
Glimpse Inside?
No. Although I don't know if I didn't see him there, but I think he was there. No. It's going to drive me crazy. I'm not going to remember it. But anyways, one of the another content creator that's pretty big in the space, and he's Ethan. I can't remember his name.
What's his Build with Ethan? I think is his name.
Yeah. Build with Ethan. That's right. Yeah.
Ethan Abramson.
Ethan Abramson. Thank you. Yeah. So he had a couple classes, and he one of his last classes was about finding the balance between creating the content and creating the product itself. Ooh. And he went into a little bit about content creation in that. And but a lot of the questions that he got afterwards were directly driven towards like content creation and things like that, which was interesting because I think there's like a bit of a desire for that. And so maybe next year we'll see a little bit more of that. Okay. I don't know. I'm not involved in the planning, but I would imagine after that reception, you might see a little bit more.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Very
I mean,
cool.
so do you know how many years this has been going on for? Like, this isn't year one, right?
No, I think this is like
3?
it's less than 10, more than 5.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Because I haven't heard. I heard people talk about it last year and this year. So I was assuming this was like year 3, maybe year 4.
Nah, the way I hear people talk about it, it's like it's been going on for a little while.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's put on by the Austin School of Furniture, and I believe they started it as kind of a showcase.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Is the Austin School of Furniture legitimately a school for learning to make furniture?
Yeah.
That would be slick. I would love to go to like a real hands-on like woodworking class and like have somebody
they had
teach me
those.
something.
They had a couple of those, yeah. They had the big one that everybody seemed really interested in was they had like I think it was a series or maybe it was just like a few independent classes that dealt in the same subject of laminate wood bending. And so
I've wanted to
bunch
do
of different
that.
techniques and stuff on that, which was really neat. Yeah.
Wanted to get my hardwood soft and bend it in different forms.
And they do a virtual pass. And I believe you could get the virtual pass and not even go and then just watch all the classes online if you wanted to, if you really wanted to. But so I can go back. They're supposed to send out a thing any day now where I can go back and look at all the classes that I missed. Because
like everyone was recorded.
Yeah, everything was recorded.
Oh, Workbench should do that for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That's something I think they should. I was surprised that they didn't do with it being, they're all about content creation and they're not creating content out of that.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't tell me how much it was right now. I don't know. I never looked. So the official event was all day Saturday, all day Sunday. Right?
Yes.
Okay. They had
I
classes, booths.
I think it's probably cheap if I had to guess because they're trying to appeal to.
They're trying to sell stuff, right?
Yeah, but they're trying to like get people in the door, right? Like it's not like Workbench. They kind of milk us a little bit because we're content creators. Like these guys got their YouTube check, so.
Okay, Zach, what's your stab? What are you going to say an admission price is for this thing?
There's 3 levels of admission. I'll tell you that much.
Oh.
Okay, tell me what the different levels get me.
So you got general admission. That just gets you onto the main floor to check out the booths.
Great.
And then you have the Edu Pass, which allows you access to the classes on the second floor. So then you go up a set of stairs and you can take, they have 2 different rooms where they're running classes pretty much all day. And then the third option is all of that, plus then you get digital access after the fact.
Ooh, okay. So Zach, let's take a stab. General admission, just getting on the floor. What do you think it costs?
$49.99.
Yeah, I was gonna say $50.
Yeah,
I think it was a little less than that. If I remember correctly, it was like $39.99.
Okay. Pretty good.
Okay.
And then
the next one, you get the classes. I'm gonna say that was $89.
Oh, I was thinking 129.
I believe that was 99.
Okay.
And then the all, I don't know.
All access, 150.
Yeah, 130.
275.
Ooh. Yeah. That feels a little cheeky.
Yeah.
That seems like a big jump. However,
I can't look them up anymore, so I may be remembering them wrong. The middle one may have been like 150.
Okay.
But I seem to remember it being 99. It could have also been I was looking at it during a sale event.
Sure. How many total classes were there? Was it just like there were 5 classes, or were there like 3 dozen classes? Or
I want to say there were.
Joe just said there's 15 or over 15.
Yeah.
Okay. And these classes aren't like a 15-minute thing. I'm sure is like at least an hour-long class.
Yeah, most of them. Usually the classes where you're watching somebody do something or learning about a technique, those were about an hour. And then the lecture, the talks were probably about a half an hour. And then each of those would have like about a half an hour of Q&A afterwards.
Okay. So like you would say that these classes were pretty valuable. Did you find a lot of value in the classes that you went to?
Yeah, like it was good to. I didn't go to a lot of them because I got the pass that I can go look them up online afterwards. So I spent a lot more time on the floor talking to people and
networking,
doing all that. But there was a couple of them that I did go to. Like I went to Jonathan, Katz Moses, KM Tools was the platinum sponsor, so the biggest sponsor of the whole event. He had the first keynote speech, and he told his whole story about everything that happened to him and how he got into what he's doing now and all that backstory. And I'd never heard that before, so I went to go listen to his speech and kind of learn a little bit more about the man, and that was pretty cool. That was very interesting, very inspiring. You like to hear him talk, and Joe said coming out of that, the one thing, the big takeaway was, do something every day to progress towards your goals. If that's just 5 minutes of, planning something or working on something, then that's 5 minutes more than you had the day before. And little things like that are just like great little takeaways to walk away with and take with you into the next day.
I dig it. So overall positive experience. You didn't walk out of it going, oh, Jesus Christ, I just wasted my whole weekend.
No. Yeah. Especially because like like I said, I was planning to stay to Monday. And when I heard everybody was leaving, I went back to the hotel and I was like, hey, if I wanted to check out early, can I do that? And they were like, yeah, that's no problem. And they waived the fee and everything. So I was able to check out early and just drive on back, and it wasn't any big issue.
I feel like most hotels do not let you do that.
No, they don't. But if you're a Diamond member, they do.
Yeah, true.
Oh, well, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. I wanted to go. I have no vacation time left after the wedding and honeymoon and stuff. So, that's what it is. But I am going to a small event this weekend for anyone listening. I guess this will probably be out Saturday morning. So if you hear it Saturday morning and you live in Ohio or
get in the car, start driving,
just get out there, man. I'm going to Hartville Hardware, Hartville Tool up in kind of like Akron, northeast area of Ohio. Cool. They have a huge store up there, and they're doing a big festival thing. We always hang out at the festival booth. And,
the festival. Cool.
Yeah. So Jason Benton will be there. Ronnie Fulton will be there. Tons of other just like Ohio makers and content creators will be there, and we all hang out, have some pizza and grab beer at the hotel afterwards. Nice. And it'll be a good time. Very laid back. We just kind of hang out at the festival booth, talk, and help people and talk people into buying stuff. We don't get commission though.
What do you get for going? Is it just for fun, or are they?
And they don't pay. They don't pay me to go.
They're not gonna give you a couple bucks.
No,
he gets FaceTime with the festival daddy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So my plan is every Friday, Sedge from Festival does Festival Live, which he basically it's basically a class where he teaches you like how to use your Traxel better, how to use your Domino better, just tips and tricks of all the tools and stuff like that. So he always does one live at Hartville. And so I'm going to go down to his set early when he's not down there. And I'm going to hide a bunch of Off the Cut podcast stickers all over the set.
Perfect. I love it.
Just you can't say anything about it.
Sticker you got to put them on the bottoms of things so when he picks them up for the camera, it just shows it.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. But I don't know what his class is going to be about. I'm assuming it's probably one of the new things that launched or something, or maybe something real general like a Traxel or a Domino, because it gets it out to folks that are at the event and want to like check it out. But those I find those events exhausting but fun.
Oh yeah, when you hit the bed at the end of the day, you're just done. But it is a good time while it's happening. Especially
because I'll be there till probably 10, 11 at night, and then I'm driving home.
Ooh.
It's like 2.5 hour drive home, but it is what it is.
They're not going to fly you on the festival jet?
No. They're all driving. Everybody from festival's driving.
Interesting.
From Indiana. So it's like 5.5 hour drive.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Can you imagine if you're stuck in a car with Jason Bent that long?
No. Do you think he listens to the Green Suiters on the whole trip?
Well, I mean, Jason would definitely listen to himself talk.
I think
You
so.
Probably
three of
laughs
them
at
will
his
just-
own jokes too.
They'll just carpool together and bang out a bunch of episodes on the road.
Oh, that would actually be smart.
Well, Ronnie lives in Kentucky. He doesn't live in Indiana.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, so that's what I'm doing.
You could do like a really circuitous route and pick him up along the way.
Ronnie's gonna jump in his Corvette and just zip up there, be up there in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's what I'm doing this weekend.
That'd be fun.
So one thing that we talked about earlier, kind of before the show, well, Zach put out a new video and it crushed. Is it a 1 out of 10?
Geez, I haven't even. I think so. I think it must be.
Come on, give yourself the fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot the fireworks. I haven't, dude. I go back and forth on whether or not. Yeah, 1 out of 10. I go back and forth on whether or not I spend a lot of time in the YouTube studio thing. Sometimes I'll just go a month without even looking at my stats.
Oh yeah.
But Eric, you just stood up for a second. It was 1 out of 10, and I got the fireworks. So
wait, hold up. You need this. Stand by.
You gotta play sound effect?
By. I don't know.
What is your view count up to?
I think quarter milli.
Ooh.
Yeah.
At what, 24, 48 hours?
I tried. So this video I had completed like a week ago. And then I read. So one thing I do sometimes, and I don't know if I would recommend this, is I read the Reddit that's specifically dedicated to people who are partnered on YouTube. So there's like a little community of like content creators on there who talk. A lot of it is just people being like, why are my views down? Like, well, did you guys' views drop? It's a lot of it is inane BS. But I read this one interesting thread by this guy who was like, here's my kind of like secret hack that I've discovered about video intros. I've studied like all the viral videos and I broke it down, and I found that there's like kind of like a formula people apply. So he called it the Triple H formula. So the first one is the hook. That's the first H. And I think everybody knows that. Like a good way to start a video is with the premise, the hook. Like what is the reason that somebody is going to sit through this 20-minute video that you've created, right? And then, so that's like the first like 5 seconds of the video. You get straight into what your hook is. And then the second thing, or the second H, was the heighten. So you want to add on to it. So
heighten?
Yeah, heighten. So you kind of build it up. And it's the yes and. So like here's my hook, and then I'm gonna yes and it a couple of times. And then the third H is hold, which is just basic retention, right? Like you you kind of just get right into it, start talking about it and get into it. So I don't know, you almost really don't need that last one because it's just like get on with the video. But
start your video.
I did actually go, and so the whole idea is to try and maximize engagement in that first 30 seconds, because everybody knows that views fall off a cliff in the first 30 seconds, right? So it's kind of just trying to keep people engaged. And the guy's theory was that, something that YouTube takes very seriously is that first 30-second metric. Because you do get that report in the studio. So I tried that out on this video for the first time, and so far it's going well. So now I have another video that's coming out next week that's already done, and I'm like, damn, should I go back and like re-edit the intro? Because really all it is for me is just I just added that because I've starting all my videos with the hook, but now I'm just kind of going back and adding the heighten, and you kind of do it, Eric, like in your videos when you're like, in today's video, I don't know, make a $5,000 mistake, learn a new technique, and break expensive.
Break my table.
Yeah, exactly. You that's kind of the heightened part, right?
Yeah, and then I'm like, but first, let's talk about this new technique or something like that.
Exactly, but you're kind of like planting nuggets that are going to like pay off throughout the video, right? So it's moving those up to the front, which I wasn't really doing before. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting concept, and I'm thinking about going back and re-editing my next video to incorporate a few of those.
One thing that I noticed in your last video, and you're probably like me, that I've gotten to the point now where when I watch videos, I'm either watching them solely for entertainment or I'm studying them.
Yes.
You know, I saw your video was crushing. So like I sat down to watch it and I was not watching for entertainment. Right. One of the things that I was hyper aware of that I think you did very tastefully in that video is you would talk about something and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I want to know why. And you're like, but not yet.
Yeah.
Like, yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You're like, but we'll get to that in a little bit. I was like,
I was worried I was kind of overdoing that a little bit.
No, not at all.
Okay. That's very good feedback. Thank you for that. Because
it was. Yeah. It honestly pulled me in a little bit more because I was watching it while I was eating lunch, and I found myself doing a thing where like I had the fork and then was just like watching it, holding the fork, and I was like, oh, I haven't taken a bite. So like it was drawing me in.
Okay, good. That's
even though I had no idea what you were talking about with some of the stuff, and just because you would know it was more like tech related stuff. I was like, I don't know what that means. But.
Sure. Well, maybe I should try and do a better job of explaining some of the stuff because I do want it to be approachable to like everybody. Like I want as many people to enjoy it as possible, obviously. So
like I think one thing you could maybe do is like maybe explain it, but like explain it in like a 5-10 second thing. Like, oh, this one operates at a different megahertz. What that means is like I don't know, the frequency of which something spins or how much energy it transmits. So like by doubling that, it's putting double the energy out. Like something like a one sentence thing.
Yep.
Just dumb the information down by like 5%.
Yeah.
But don't do it for everything. Do that for like 1, maybe 2 tech things in each video.
It's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Key
good advice. That's good feedback.
Or like, have you ever wondered what milliamp hours on the battery means?
Yeah.
Like it means how much current or how much, amps it can put out or whatever the hell it is.
Okay.
And for reference, a standard iPhone that you use every day has this much. So this is 4x the size of your phone. People are like, oh, wow. Okay. Move on.
Yeah.
And something like that would actually clip out really well to like short form to supplement for your Instagram feed too.
Yeah. That's a good point. Those little explainers.
One of the things I noticed in your videos is that you, and Deric, we talked about this before the show too, is I noticed that you're bringing up like the YouTube members, which is effectively like a Patreon, but it's built into it. You did a really smooth job talking about it, and enough for me. I was like, oh, I want to go down and see what he's offering. And then you had like a little promo video. It was really smooth and like simple and not, I have to go to a different platform and stuff to sign up for this.
Yeah.
But what was more interesting to me, and I don't think I told you guys about this, you did something that I got a lot of feedback from last week. I had the opportunity to have a phone call with an ex-executive from Patreon.
Oh, wow. Cool.
It was through Influence. So the idea, I mean, full transparency is like this guy partnered with Influent, which is our agency that represents us for like ads and stuff like that. And his whole goal is to meet with creators and give them like a roadmap, a whole, what I'm trying to think, like analyze their Patreon, help them develop an entire strategy that he's seen has been super successful, tons of other different creators, kind of like help you grow your community, give you ideas and perks and benefits and stuff that you can do. But anyway, so on that call, there are a couple takeaways. He was like, I don't want to offend you, but I'm going to be very honest and open. He goes, let's look at your Patreon offerings. He goes, you're basically offering someone nothing. And the stuff that you are offering them is throwaway content.
Okay.
And so, but he's not being an asshole. He's trying to be just very deliberate and telling me what he finds success with.
Okay.
The first thing he said is go on Patreon. Go to anyone's Patreon who you're not subscribed to. Phone, computer, iPad, whatever. When you look at their tiers, it will only show you 2, maybe 3 tiers on your screen. Anything else, you have to swipe. He goes, virtually no one will sign up for the tiers that they have to swipe for.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He goes, my top creators have 2 tiers, maybe 1, which is very interesting. He goes, you want to give these people as few options as possible. You want to be a patron? Here it is.
Yeah. Interesting.
Very interested. And then the other thing he said is, he goes, I know this is hard, but you want to provide something to someone that is on par, very close to what you put out as your mainstay. So, for example, for the podcast, we do the after show, which is very, very close to what we're offering as our main form of content, right? It's an extended double podcast. Content. Exactly. Yeah. Which is probably why, I mean, our podcast Patreon is more successful than my personal Patreon. And that makes sense. And it was also kind of something that we had talked about in the past. Like, do we make the Patreon for the podcast like just 1 tier or 2 tiers and not make it so complicated? And he's like, most of the other stuff that people offer on Patreon, like you get a discount on merchandise, you get a free t-shirt, you get this and that. They're like, people don't really care.
Right.
Like, that's just ancillary stuff. And he's like, honestly, you're losing money by doing that.
Right. Interesting.
But so with my Patreon, what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw out like a survey, an audience awareness, like get feedback on what people want to see. And he goes, I always do this, but I also always know the response. People in your space, what they want is they want long form video that is not necessarily 100% like the snappy quick cut. Like I would put this on YouTube, but maybe Zach, you go into a 15, 20 minute, post-mortem, like you like to call it with your consoles, where you really dive into like, okay, here's the problem with what I did. Here's how I would change it if I redid it. And it's like, but still like shot well. But like if you have a 20-second long clip of a talking head in that video, like it's fine, right?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be
every 2 seconds.
It doesn't have to be quite like brain rot level content where it's like, flashing lights and graphics on screen every 10 seconds.
Exactly. Yeah. And as soon as he like says this, I'm like, dude, you're absolutely right. Like, it's like you have to give something to the people that they actually want to see and get.
Yes. Yeah.
But he said, like, without a doubt, the number one thing you need to do for someone like in our space, like the YouTube woodworking, maker space, he goes, you need to do long form video, 1, maybe 2 long form videos a month that is correlated to what you're doing in your YouTube videos, or a long cut instead of like that 20-minute snappy edit, an hour long. Where, and he goes, you can even just do it something as like you edit it and then you just talk without a script and you just talk about the project and something.
Oh, that's an interesting concept. Huh. Maybe I'll try that.
He goes, I don't want to call it doing something low lift because you don't want to get stuck in the rut of having like throwaway content again.
Yeah.
So
I forgive me, I'm not a patron of yours. What type of content did you have on there? I looked through it one day, like I did like the free preview that you can do.
Yeah.
So it seemed like it was kind of more like vloggy style content.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Yeah. kind of like life updates and stuff like that, or like shop updates, kind of.
Yeah, here's how the project's going. Oh, I'm struggling with this. Here's one thing I found. Oh, this new tool is working well.
Yeah.
And he's like, I haven't found any creators that's very successful for.
Okay, that's interesting.
Which makes sense, because I even told him, I was like, I have, several dozen patrons.
Yeah.
And you don't even get a lot of views on those or feedback.
Right?
Because you can look at insights and stuff like that.
Interesting. Yeah, I never even thought to, I mean, it seems so obvious now that you say it, but to like look at what percentage of your Patreon supporters are actually engaging with the content that you put out. Yeah, interesting.
So it's got me rethinking Patreon, and I don't know, just something I think for us to think about for the podcast as well.
Yeah.
How to maybe streamline or like change or something. We're 140 episodes in. What if you do something different? And
yeah,
it was a really interesting call.
With the membership on my channel, like I think I kind of stumbled into the simple thing, because I was basically doing it, and I was like, I don't want to think about different tiers. So I have like one tier that unlocks everything, and then I have a second tier that's like, if you want to be like a really cool guy and support me more, then you can do the second tier. And like, that's it. Like, there's like literally no difference between them, I don't think.
No, I like the fact that you made that simple. Like, if I wanted to subscribe to yours, I'd just be like, okay, I don't know, $3, $5 or whatever. I get everything. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's good value. But then it's like, oh, but if you wanted like be what do you call it, a master builder or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, okay, well, yeah, maybe I'll just do that one. Like, you made the choice easy for me.
Yeah. And that's kind of feedback I got on my Patreon too, was like a lot of people were like, we just want to support you in some way. Like, it's not even necessarily about the content. So yeah, that's interesting.
It was very interesting. So I'm curious to see kind of where that goes, and just, I don't know. But it's also scary. He goes, I know, I can see, as I see it in your face, you're also scared to like invest time into making a long form video that maybe only 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people see. Yeah.
I mean, it's like all these things, right? Like making plans.
Yeah.
Like, takes time. And I think you're in a pretty similar position to me. Like, time is the thing that we are the most limited in.
Yes.
So it is scary to invest, like think about making an hour-long video.
Right.
Even if it is a lighter lift, like at the lightest possible lift, you still have to sit there and do VO for an hour. Even if you're just free balling it into the mic, right?
Right.
And that's, that is a decent chunk of time when you're trying to run a business.
But then it's one of those things like, I don't know if you know him, Deric. I think you know him, Nick Padula. He's
got like 1,500 Patreon supporters or something, right?
Crushes Patreon.
Yeah.
I think he's got almost 4,000 patrons now.
Oh, really? Damn.
Yeah, absolutely smokes Patreon.
Crazy.
And you know what he does? He has 2 tiers.
Yeah.
And he does long form video.
Wow.
20, 30, 40-minute videos on Patreon.
Yeah, he's got
3,826.
Oh, really? I'm looking and it says 3,800. Wait, what did you say, Deric?
3,826.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said 5,000.
No.
Okay. It had 2,000 people cancel while we were talking. But then he talks about in his videos, he's like, if, I have, I cut down this video to be a half hour long, but I have all the footage, a 6-part series where each part of this build is cut into like a 20, 30, 40-minute long video.
Yeah.
And so somebody who really wants to see more about his process and see how he makes all this stuff, like, that's available. And that's very valuable to people, I think.
Yeah.
Well, he's got 3,800 and some odd members, right? But he's also got a free tier.
Like right. Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah, they do count members. So
stupid.
In the free tier.
Oh.
But still, like I'm sure he's making pretty good money there.
Yeah.
Well, enough that I've heard him talk about in videos. He's like, yeah, I don't release videos super often on YouTube because I've created this community over here that sustains me, and I would rather do that and then just kind of YouTube almost seems like it's like a lead generator for him.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Which is very interesting. And
there we go. Scott just chimed in. Petula's got 1,082 paid members.
Right. Which is nuts. Like that's a more sustainable thing, right? Yeah. Once you've not locked somebody in. You got somebody in the funnel. They're interested in that. You keep them interested and engaged. One, they're going to watch what you're doing, and two, like you're not heavily relying on the whole YouTube algorithm and everything that's associated with that, right?
Yeah,
You can kind of predict your income down the road too.
Yeah,
to a certain extent.
Well, at least you establish a pretty decent baseline, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it also allows you to get more experimental with content, right? Like you've got a very, very intrigued, engaged audience that will be like, hey, this isn't what we want to see. And you're like, cool, no worries. But it doesn't shoot you in the foot, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you put a couple stinker YouTube videos, you start going down the wrong, down the wrong path, you could potentially jeopardize your entire YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just got me thinking a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I look, it's clear that there is potential to succeed on Patreon. And why wouldn't Patreon be like any other platform? Like what's the quickest way to success on YouTube?
Putting out long form videos that are of high quality.
Well, yeah, but okay, so but you don't know what high quality is when you're first kind of starting out, right? Like it kind of takes
okay.
If I had to give one piece of advice to somebody who's like starting out on YouTube, I'd be like, find somebody who's crushing it and analyze why. Like, try to figure out what they're doing and like back engineer it. So why wouldn't you find someone who's crushing it on Patreon and do the same thing?
Right. I mean, it makes 100% sense, but it also sounds so stupid and obvious when you say it, right?
Well, it is obvious. I think it's harder to do. It's easier said than done, right? Like to back engineer somebody's success is not a trivial task, and that's why there's not a million people crushing it on YouTube every single day. But still, it is doable.
So I got to know.
Yeah, go ahead, Deric.
Zach, you've got the YouTube subscription thing set up, but Eric, you don't.
Yeah.
What's the hesitation there on your part, Eric, as far as like setting it up on that side? Is it just because it's just another thing to keep up with, or?
That's a fantastic question. I had Patreon set up first, and I was like, I don't want to migrate, or like, is it going to piss off the people that are already patrons? And you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I was just
from my
curious,
point of view,
why not just post the same thing?
Yeah, my experience, most of my patrons were actually, when I shut down my Patreon, most of my patrons were like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I'll come support you over there.
And even as a creator, Patreon is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And as like, I'm a patron of several folks. And like they post something, I'm like, I don't even want to go on Patreon to see it.
It's friction, baby.
It is. You're absolutely right. It is.
No, like they have video, they have audio, they have, basically they have picture format, blog posts, any form of media that you can imagine you can do on Patreon. But then you have to use their player.
which sucks.
And
I've
noticed a lot of people will actually post them on YouTube and just link over to them. You're playing them in Patreon, but it's a YouTube video playing within their web browser or web window or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's already there.
Yeah. So it's a bad user experience. So
yeah. But you know what is a good user experience?
The after show
is the fact that we've got returning top tier patrons.
Oh yeah. Speaking of.
And by the way, our new patron last week that we said Carol goes by Carl.
Oh, okay.
He sent me a message. Goes by Carl.
Carl.
Right. No, just Karl. Carl.
Carl. Okay.
Yeah, Carl. So, but we want to give a huge shout out to our returning top tier patrons. We've got Joe Welsh, Delaware Valley Workshop, Goblin Spanker, Corey Duvall, Josh at Sawdust Builds, and that dude figured out his bank card. He's a patron this week or month or whatever, baby. So we're going to we're going to add some friction to the show. We're going to head over to patreon.com/Off the Gut Podcast. And we're going to go to the after show and we've got some questions and quite a few things to talk about. So, join us.
That thing that we just finished explaining was so bad. We're going to do that right now.
Yeah, we're going to go over there. So we're going to change apps.
Yeah, we're going to go do it on a platform that's not nearly as convenient to listen to.
Well, you can link over.
When you say it out loud like that, we're like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah. Well, with that said, we'll see you next week.
See you, everybody.
See ya.